Hello and welcome back to the Real Estate Roundup podcast. And in today's episode, we are going to be covering a topic that has been looming over the real estate industry for the past couple of months that I think a lot of people have been waiting for, maybe in fear, maybe in excitement. We don't know, right? Different people have different attitudes about it. But it is the NAR lawsuit settlement changes that are going to be coming into effect here on August the 17th. So we're going to have a lot of fun talking about it and really preparing you guys, whether if you're a real estate agent or you're a buyer or seller in the market, for these changes and what to expect as well. My name is Kobe Zinn, and I'm joined here today by my co-hosts, Tony Flores and Andres Martinez, both real estate professionals here in the great state of Texas who know a thing or two about the real estate changes and how to deal with these changes. But how are you guys doing on this day?
Great. Awesome.
Are we excited for the NAR changes, or are we shaking in our boots?
I think we're ready to face them head on, right? Got to make sure because clients are still buying houses. Right, Tony?
Sales are going to continue. People are going to continue to buy, sell, and invest in real estate, and that's what's exciting. So yes, we're excited. Excited for the changes because we're turning a page and we're starting fresh and just educating our clients on what it means to them and how we can help them navigate through this new.
Yep. Change is not new in real estate, right? So if people have been in the industry for a while. Change itself is not new. So it's just what is changing that is different. So I'm glad that we have a really good positive attitude coming into these changes coming into effect here in a couple of days. But let's just dig right on in, right? For people who may not be familiar with the details of these new NAR lawsuit settlement changes, I would love for you guys to be able to kind of explain from your perspective and from your understanding what these are and what makes the process of doing real estate different than it was before. So Tony, we'll start with you and then we'll go to you, Andres.
Okay, so really with the changes of NAR, with the settlement and the back and forth of everything like that, and what it comes down to is how the commissions have been bundled in the past. So when you think about bundling, usually it's a good thing. Bundle your car insurance. Bundle up, right? So, and in this settlement, it's called they're calling it decoupling of the commissions. So, in the way it's been, and for many years, is the commission has been essentially agreed upon with the selling agent's broker and the client. So they come together and say, okay, our commission is going to be X percent. And for just informational purposes, I'll say, let's say it were, for instance, 6%, right? Then the seller has agreed to pay their brokerage, the people they hired, they agreed to pay them 6% commission to get the house sold, right? So when the house did sell, what happened with that 6%? Well, in many cases, the listing brokerage broke off 3% for themselves, and they broke off 3% for the buyer's brokerage, right? So what the disagreement was between the people who saw it different ways was saying, well, you guys are conspiring and inflating these commissions, and what they said is they want a decoupling of those commissions. So the buyer's agent, over here, has to get their commission from either their buyer or they have to negotiate it as part of the sale. So if you have a home available for sale that was, say, $350,000, then that 6% was deducted on that listing, and it was broken off, and that 3% would have gone potentially to the buyer's agent. Right now, everyone has to negotiate, and all these fees have been negotiable for all this time that they've had these fees. Right, there's never been a set fee, but what they wanted to do was, what the agreement was, hey, there's got to be more clarity and saying okay, I'm paying as a seller, I'm paying you to sell this house X amount of dollars or X amount of percentage based on, the sales price. So that's really what's changed, and how it affects the buyers is going to be really, really important on how we move forward and how all that stuff's negotiated. Of course, there's always been negotiation on, can you repair this before we buy it? Can you paint that before we buy it? Now it's going to be bringing an additional layer of negotiation in how the buyers can actually afford the houses. So it's really just a different way of doing business, and we want to be ready for it and just make sure everyone knows how that works up front.
Yeah, it's important to have that clarity, right? Because there's a lot of confusion as far as, just stuff being put out there on different Facebook groups and different media channels of what the actual changes are and what they mean. There is a lot of fear mongering, unfortunately. So it is good to bring clarity to what the facts are as far as what these changes are going to be as well. So pretty much, the same to you, Andres. From your understanding, what are these changes that are happening, and what do you think is going to be the effect of these changes for both the real estate professionals, but also the buyer and seller clients involved as well?
I think it's going to bring transparency, and it's going to make everything clear as far as for the seller and the buyer. I know the sellers sometimes felt like, why am I paying 3% or X amount for someone to negotiate against me? They didn't feel like it was something that was fair. Well, it's been heard. And now, moving forward, because throughout the whole process of real estate, uh, commissions have been negotiable. There's never a standard rate. There's always a, a tier system. Like, hey, this is a tier system that I have. Uh, this is why we might want to pay this amount, because it might drive attraction. We can also do a different amount, and then I would have the last amount. The reason I did a tier system is because I would show value attached to any number that I'm presenting to my client. And as long as I'm able to represent a number with value to it, then my clients would understand it. Um, I've done transactions where if I was going to work for 1% or 2%, right? We might be doing multiple properties. So uh, by as we're building that relationship, I use the negotiable commission to my benefit, right? I was willing to take a little less commission, right? And it would be up to my client to determine what the worth, right? And what value. Hey, Andres, we'll work on multiple properties. Can we do this amount? Let's talk about it. And then we would communicate it, and then we would move forward. I have done quite a few transactions where I took a discounted commission, but overall, I was interested in bringing value to my client.
Yeah, I like what you said there about a tier system, right? Because there's a lot of businesses out there with similar payment structures where, if you pay a certain amount, right? A lot of subscription services are this way, right? You pay a certain amount, you get this much, but if you pay like for the pro plan or something else, pay a little bit more, the enterprise plan, you get more, right? With what you pay for. So as a real estate agent or real estate professional, right, the amount of service you're providing to your clients can also be determinant upon the amount of commissions that you're receiving as well, right? Because some people, they might not need as much service, but some people might need the full service agent as well.
One thing, Kobe, so the thing that happens, right? If we're boosting or if we're marketing a property online, out of the realtor's commission comes marketing. So you got to apply a specific amount of money towards marketing. There is signage, there is open houses. So the more we're doing is how we justify that value. Then that's why it's great to represent a tier system. The ultimate goal is to get that household as soon as possible, right? so we don't have to do additional mortgage payments. So you could move forward to your next duty station. So you could move forward to your dream home, right? So, or if you're in a distressed situation, we're bringing value. We want to get you out of a situation into a better place. So that's where the real estate agent, real estate professionals bring value. They bring value by being resourceful and being, um, they understand the market. So if they understand the market, they're able to market your property to things that are going in the market. Today, the interest rates are high. We got to market differently than we were marketing uh, just 24, 28 months ago, where there weren't much negotiations as far as repairs. We honestly, that was actually looked upon, uh, making it difficult to get that transaction or to get that house under contract. Today, a lot of those things are being repaired. There's more time to negotiate. So that real estate professional understands what the market is, and that's how they bring value to their clients.
Right. And I love you brought that point up as well because, there is a marketing budget for real estate agents, especially if they're working with a seller as well. The open houses and all the great snacks that they're using to bring other people in there, they're not free, right? They actually cost money, just like if you were to go out there and buy them yourself.
Yeah.
So a question for you, Tony. I mean, as a real estate agent that you were going out there and having conversations with buyers and seller clients, what do you think is going to change just as far as in your conversations with both buyers and sellers with these new changes coming into effect? Are you going to be changing the approach as far as how you're, working with them, or is it going to pretty much be the same conversations you're having with them with maybe just a different form that you're using to get them under a listing agreement or a buyer agreement?
Yeah. So really, what's changing with the new rules is going to be different forms and also longer conversations on that specific part of commissions and how does it affect how quickly your house can sell, right? Because there's been of course a lot of agents. Been some backlash as far as you know how the buyer's agents can effectively ensure that they're being compensated properly and fairly for the amount of work that they do. Because when you think about it, what do the buyer's agents do? Okay, we'll take it step by step. As a listing agent, what I do is I spend money on pictures. I spend money sometimes on stagers, sometimes on people that'll help stage the house internally if there's things that we can use and there's the homeowner is going to be living there as we're showing the house. There could be different types of things like that. Really smart social media campaigns, targeted campaigns, postcards, spending time doing open houses. If I'm not available for an open house on a particular day, I might pay another agent to do an open house for me. So there's a lot of costs besides just general business costs that go into how to promote a home. But now, what does a buyer's agent do? Well, the buyer's agent, is probably taking their buyers into showing them multiple houses. They could be, showing them 5 or 10 or 20 houses before they land on one that they're, want to make an offer on, or they're spending time, writing up the offers, doing all these things, and how can they fairly be compensated? So, in some cases, some agents are going to be very, very wary. Some buyers agents are going to be wary on, like, are they going to be able to help their client get in this house and it be affordable to them? Because will their compensation be part of that offer? Will that be accepted? Or there's there going to be a lot of you know conflict or negotiating where they have less certainty versus somebody that's upfront that's saying, hey, it's already been pre-negotiated. So that's a real conversation we're going to talk about, and it might be a conversation we agree to it on one part, like at the beginning of the week, and it might be different at the end of the week. So we don't know until we kind of depends on the price point and how we're marketing and how many questions, or how many people might be deterred because there's not a stated, a stated commission amount, a stated buyer's compensation agreement up front, so they can know that that's already kind of covered and they have less to worry about on them. They're just showing houses as they typically would. So that's just a conversation we're going to be having at the listing, and if I'm with the buyer, I'm going to be talking about, yeah, if they're not offering compensation up front and it becomes part of negotiating, how do you feel about that? How would you want to cover that? And we're going to have those conversations. So it'll be client by client, person by person, as far as what we can agree on. And at the end of the day, everything's negotiable, and we're just ready to have those conversations when they come up.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, just to kind of wrap things up here for today, because I know we're a little bit limited on time, but we did cover quite a bit of information as far as how people should be approaching this, whether if you're a buyer or seller or a real estate professional, as we see the changes come into effect. But really, kind of just wrap up, advice for real estate professionals and agents out there, because I feel like this is the group of people that are probably the most afraid with the new changes coming up. So, Andres, we'll start with you. Just last piece of advice for real estate professionals, and then we'll wrap up with your advice, Tony.
So my recommendation, always sit down with your clients for a first sit down meeting on the initial, just so you can introduce yourself, be transparent, go over all information, document, right? And if you're able to agree on your commission, if you're able to agree on the process and the value you're gonna provide moving forward, at that point you're gonna have peace of mind moving forward because everything's been agreed upon. If there is somebody that feels uncomfortable, at that point you might not want to be representing them, right? It's okay to be able to have this documentation. And if somebody does not want to move forward with you, it's okay. You might not be the person that needs to represent them. But I think document, because we need to be as transparent as possible.
Yep, it's great advice. And we'll wrap up with your advice, Tony, for real estate professionals coming here at August 17th.
Yeah, the main thing is talk to your broker about how your broker wants to guide you and help you through your transactions, your conversations, because it is probably broker specific, but also be aware, listen to what other people are saying, but at the end of the day, you will be, you're compensated by your broker, because people may or may not realize that commission, it goes to the brokerage first. And then after the brokerage is done with their expenses, then the remainder will go to the agent, right? Or sometimes if there was a referral, say for instance, somebody referred you to somebody else, there could be a percentage taken on the front end, and then the brokerage gets a percentage taken on another end. If it's an REO or any other kind of Zillow, someone came to you from Zillow, guess what? Zillow takes some money. So ideally, there's a lot of people that can try to can have their hands on the pie before it actually gets to the actual agent. So when you see that commission amount, it doesn't mean that agent gets that amount. So,
and don't forget about Uncle Sam, man. That pie gets sliced a lot of times, man.
Right. That's right. They get their portion as well. So, so those are a lot of those things that people don't really necessarily consider, because they see those dollar amounts. They think, wow, that's what the agent's getting. It's really not the case in so many. It's not the case really, because everyone's going to get a part of it unless the broker they have to pay insurance and all kinds of stuff. So main thing is, for the agents, talk to your broker. Have lots of conversations. I've been hearing conversations from my brokerage. I've been hearing conversations from other brokerages. I've been trying to make sure that I know that I'm getting the best information, and I'm getting myself educated so that I can best represent my clients.
Don't be afraid to document, guys. It's okay.
That's right.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to ask questions as well, because this is new, right? This is new for everybody, not just for you. So That was really good. You guys, I think, offered a ton of value to both our real estate professional listeners and also buyer and seller clients as well who are actively in the real estate market. So if you guys want to reach out to either Tony or Andres for any real estate needs, just talk real estate to understand their perspective as a real estate professional moving forward in this new world, if you will, with the settlement changes, make sure to reach out to them. Their contact information is in the description, the show notes down below. But other than that, we're excited. We're excited for the changes coming here on August 17th. But other than that, appreciate you guys all tuning in. Appreciate you too, as always. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Real Estate Roundup. Take care.
Take care.